morning, I'm James Gruber and welcome to the Morning Report for Monday the 13th of July. Well, it was all about tech stocks in the US again on Friday. South Korean memory chip maker SK Hynix listed its American Depository Receipts, or ADRs, on the Nasdaq, raising $26 billion and the stock jumped 13% on the day. That boosted sentiment for tech shares, which were the best performing sector on the S&P 500. Renewed fighting in the Middle East didn't dampen investor spirits, and on that fighting over the weekend, Iran said that it had closed the Strait of Hormuz, though the US has come out over the past few hours and disputed that claim, saying the waterway remains open. We'll have to wait and see whether that development impacts markets today. Let's take a deeper look at what's happened with Aussie futures, commodities and currencies. The ASX is poised to open higher, with index futures up 0.5%. Speaking of the ASX 200, on Friday it ended 0.5% higher at 8,806 points, though it lost 0.4% for the week. The index snapped a 4-day losing streak on Friday after an upbeat session on Wall Street, even as a re-escalation in the Middle East conflict raised supply concerns. BHP helped the index up 2.5%, its best day in a month, and gold stocks were also sharply higher. On commodity markets, global oil prices settled lower on Friday after the latest round of US-Iran fighting, as traders grew hopeful that shipping would eventually resume in the Strait of Hormuz. Brent crude futures settled down 0.4% at just above $76 a barrel. Base metal prices were mixed on Friday. Copper futures were up 0.3%, while aluminium futures dropped 2.3%. After Emirates Global Aluminium said it had restarted its alumina refinery in the UAE after a 3.5-month outage, in a further sign that metal production in the Gulf is set to ramp back up. Gold futures declined as higher oil prices linked to the Middle East conflict fueled inflation concerns and bolstered expectations of tighter US monetary policy. The futures settled 0.7% lower at $4,114 an ounce. Meantime, iron ore futures rose, supported by a combination of physical supply-side factors, including seasonally lower Australian shipments, freight cost premiums, and destocking at major Chinese ports. The futures settled 0.2% higher at $98.72 a tonne. Let's now take a look at currencies. The Aussie dollar was last trading a little lower at 69.46 US cents. Taking a step back now to see how Wall Street and other world markets did, the Dow Jones Index finished up 0.3%, the S&P 500 was 0.4% higher, and the Nasdaq gained 0.3%. A closer look at the trading day there, Wall Street rose as the blockbuster Nasdaq debut of South Korea's SK Hynix fueled optimism about memory chip makers, while investors looked ahead to quarterly earnings season results this week. 8 of the 11 S&P 500 sector indexes rose, led by information technology up 1.7%, followed by a 1.5% gain in consumer discretionary. The Philadelphia Chip Index gained 0.1%, up for a third straight day. The AI trade returned to the spotlight after SK Hynix ended 13% above its offering price at $170 in a high-profile US listing. Nvidia was also 4% higher on the day. Meta Platforms jumped 6% to its highest level since April, as sentiment improved around the company's AI strategy. However, Delta Airlines dropped almost 2%, even after forecasting third-quarter profit above expectations. US government bond yields advanced on Friday, as investors focused on renewed tensions between the US and Iran, while disruptions to traffic through the Strait of Hormuz fueled concerns that rising oil prices could add to inflationary pressures. The US 10-year Treasury yield was 1 point higher at 4.56%, while the US 2-year Treasury yield rose 3 points to 4.21%. Moving to the European markets now, the continent-wide FTSE Euro First 300 index ended flat, and the UK FTSE 100 rose 0.2%. Europe ended a 4-week winning streak on Friday, buffeted by an unwind in tech stocks and resurgent tensions in the Middle East that rattled oil markets. The technology sector was off 1.3% on Friday and 1.8% for the week. Swoitec and ASML dropped almost 6% and 2.1% respectively on the day. Telecom stocks climbed 1.3%, lifted by a 13% jump in Vodafone after UAE Telecoms Group said it would sell its stake in the company to the family group of French billionaire Xavier Niel. Travel and leisure stocks advanced 1%, with airlines largely higher. The UK's EasyJet surged 14% after it agreed in principle to a £5.7 billion takeover offer from Apollo Global. So let's take a look at what's on the watch list. In Australia, the Westpac Consumer Sentiment and NAB Business Confidence surveys are out today. There are also several companies trading ex-dividend this week, including Collins Food and Beacon Lighting today. In the US, the second quarter earnings season kicks into gear, with the big banks reporting from tomorrow and tech stocks next week. And that's it for today. For further developments on the local trading session, please tune into the CommSec Market Update podcast this afternoon and, of course, the Market Close video. Have a great day and a great week.